with ORD2 Indivisible. Well, that's who I am, and I'm proud. Thank you so much for coming today with this braving heat. You are very, very brave, and I appreciate that very much, and we all do. This is our very first Saturday rally, and I'm a little discouraged that it is so warm because I think people were not coming because of that, but I'm really, really glad you came. So thank you very much for making that worthwhile for all of us. And there are always so many people that have lent a hand to put this rally together. So can we please give Mary, Fran, and her crew a big hand? Thank you, Mary, Fran, Gail. Well, after weeks of total secrecy, McConnell and his gang of 13 GOP senators, male senators, have drafted a health care bill that basically exchanges Medicaid for a tax cut for the wealthy. This is what Senator Wyden has to say about the bill. It is heartless, brainless, and cruel, and Americans will die because of it. Our other Senator, Merkley, says this bill is diabolical.
It is.
And our beloved President Obama said, simply put, if there's a chance you might get sick or get old or start a family, this bill will do you harm.
And it's a mean bill.
What more proof do we need that this bill should not be passed? Do we need any more proof than this?
No. It'd be nice to have some hearings, though.
Be nice to have some hearings. Be nice to have just a smidgen of transparency in this administration. Well, to speak about this bill and more, I am delighted to introduce our guest speaker today. Peter Buckley, our beloved Peter Buckley, served 6 terms in the Oregon House of Representatives, including 8 years as the House co-chair of the Joint Committee on Ways and Means. He was elected to the House Democratic Leadership Team in 2005, working with then House Democratic Leader Jeff Merkley. Peter has been a champion for education and the environment throughout his legislative career. He currently works as the program manager for Southern Oregon Success, although I'm not sure if is that still true, and as policy advisor to Governor Kate Brown. And he is a friend of us Indivisibles, and we are very, very, very happy to have him in our midst. Please welcome Peter Buckley.
Thank you. Thanks for being here today. Thanks for the tech help, too. So it's a very hot day. I don't want to keep you out in the heat very long, and I don't want to rile you up because I know there's enough anger already. But there are some things that need to be said. In fact, when we see people in wheelchairs protesting in the U.S. Senate building, dragged from their wheelchairs when they insist on the health care that they need and deserve, a whole lot of things need to be said. Many things need to be done. Now, I've mentioned my strong admiration before for Barack and Michelle Obama, and they told us consistently, they always tell us, when they go low, we have to go high. But I have to say, never in my wildest dreams did I expect the Republican Party of the United States to go as low as they have gone. And we have to go high by calling them out on it. We need to call them out on their lack of decency, their lack of honor, and their lack of legitimacy. And I don't like to personalize politics, but the attack that Mr. Trump, Mr. Walden, and their colleagues are making is on our children. It's on our families, our moms, and our dads. It's personal. The attack they're making on our children and our families is personal. And I know many of the members who run for Congress, they run for the right reasons, and they believe themselves to be people of decency and honor. And I have no desire to attack them personally, but it has to be said, taking health care away from children is not an act of honor and decency. Taking health care away from seniors in nursing homes is not an act of honor and decency. Taking health care away from Americans to provide a tax break for the wealthiest among us is not an act of honor and decency. The proponents of this act cannot claim ever again to be people of honor and decency. The Center for American Progress and Harvard University researchers released a study yesterday. I don't know if any of you saw it, but they analyzed the impact of the Walden-Trump health care bill. If it is enacted, their analysis shows, by the time its full provisions are in effect in 2026, up to 27,000 of our children, our family members, and our seniors across our country will die from lack of access to affordable health care that they currently have under the Affordable Care Act. Legislation that results in the deaths of 27,000 Americans is not an act of decency and honor. The study breaks it down state by state. In Oregon, in 2026, we can expect 357 of our children, our family members, our moms and dads, our grandmoms and granddads. We can expect 357 Oregonians to die due to the immorality of the Walden-Trump healthcare bill. This is as personal as it gets. This greed, this lack of honor and decency shows without a shadow of doubt the moral illegitimacy of the Trump administration and the Republican Party. A government unwilling to work for the good of its own people, in fact, a government choosing to injure its own people, is illegitimate. And I believe the Trump administration is politically illegitimate as well. What bothers Mr. Trump the most, what he's worried about the most, is exactly what we should be calling him out on. Yes, we need to call him out on his lies, such as his consistent promise to not cut Medicaid and his current crusade to do just that. But by this point, however, no one expects Mr. Trump to behave with honor and decency. It does not matter to him who suffers. It only matters to him that he gets a win. That's all that's important to him. Money is a win. Power is a win. He is a morally bankrupt human being. But what terrifies him the most, I believe, is that he knows he is also an illegitimate president. He is fighting furiously to keep anyone from making that case. He lost the popular vote by close to 3 million votes, and his electoral college victory is heavily clouded. He won the swing states they needed by less than 70,000 votes, and those are in states such as Florida and Wisconsin, where there are clear records of voter suppression. In addition, there's the Russian interference in our election, which Mr. Trump wants passionately to go away. Mr. Trump has no mandate, he has no morality, no decency, and he has no legitimacy. And I don't want to rile you up. I just wanted to say what has to be said. We have to take care of each other. We must stay organized and we must speak out. We must resist. And we must get these men out of power through impeachment and through our elections in 2018 and 2020. This is the United States of America. This is our country. This is personal.
Thank you so much, Peter, for speaking for all of us. And now, we are going to hear from our co-founder of ORD2, Mr. Brett Levick.
Yeah, I got nothing happy to say either. I'm sorry. I wake up angry every day still and go to bed angry. And this is not the country that I want my daughter growing up in. and it hurts. It hurts me every day. This administration is a huge threat to the American people and to the world. A much bigger threat, in my view, than any of the enemies they're trying to wipe out. And this health care bill alone will kill way more Americans than ISIS ever could. To me, it's as bad as it sounds. Trump has let the Russians steal the election just because he likes winning. The presidency is another scam in Trump's life work of scamming people, and he couldn't care less about our country or our democracy. Our representatives are letting him get away with it because they want to pass this mean legislation, and they're robbing us of our democracy. There's a clear disdain that I see on the right for poor people. I think Mitch McConnell and Paul Ryan hate poor people. And I think they won't be happy until, we're wiped out. They've drafted a bill that clearly states it. When you take affordable health care from children and the elderly and minorities, the sick, the poor, and give tax breaks to the wealthy, you're sending a clear message that we're all expendable. And furthermore, I feel that the 1% has pretty much bled the people dry and is now turning towards the government. And there's no more money here, and they're going to make it. They're going to make it by taking over the government and making it a corporation. And we need to stop that. And I don't feel hopeful. I feel like our voting system is compromised. I'm not confident that we can ever win an election again. And it scares the crap out of me. And I think the only thing we have right now is each other, and we need to grow this movement, and we need to be vocal, and people need to know, people need to join us, and we need to do whatever it takes to make that happen. I'm not big on speaking publicly, but I told Jessica, she asked me to do a pep talk, and I said, I don't know if I can be peppy right now, but I can talk. I honestly, this is the only thing that makes it okay for me to wake up in the morning, is that I know I'm doing something. And I urge you to keep making the phone calls every day, everybody, and tell your friends, tell your family, the phone calls matter. So thank you all so much for being here. Thank you, that was amazing. And I hope you have a great day. Thanks.
Well, Brett, you may not know how to give a pep talk, but you sure know how to speak from your heart, and I really appreciate it. Always do. Always do. Brett was going to mention something that he didn't, and I will do that for you. We are having a flash protest on Tuesday. People are gathering at big hospitals all over the country to talk about how awful this bill is, and to talk to hospital workers, because they're on our sides. They know how horrible it is. The only people that don't know how horrible it is are the people that are going to be benefiting and profiting from how horrible it is.
They know.
So
They know.
we are going to be meeting Tuesday, 1 o'clock, at Asante Hospital. Now, parking is a little difficult at Asante, so we're asking you to drive to Asante Circle, which is a block away, They have tons of parking on that street, and from there, at 1 o'clock, we will walk to the hospital and do just like loops, going back and forth with your signs. So please join us for that. It's going to be a lot cooler out.
Where is the Sunday Circle?
Yeah, there's a map. There's a map on the Facebook page. It's actually also on our website, and you could Google Asante Circle, but it's actually southeast of the hospital.
Is it Medford, Asante?
Yes, Medford RV. Yes, thank you for the clarification. So, I would like to switch gears for a little bit because, Brett and I, we started this thing together. We were a lot more hopeful 5 months ago because we just thought everything, well, first of all, we never knew how bad it was going to be. We had the anticipation, but the reality is nothing like what we're seeing, and you all know that. And it's also, even though Brett and I haven't really talked about it in detail, it's a little discouraging how much energy we put into it, and we see the crowds thinning. And I really want to address that because you guys are the backbone of Indivisible, of our ORD2. I see the same beautiful faces showing up week after week at every event, and it is so heartening. And I also feel, like Brett, and probably like you, that I need this. I need this in order to not go stark raving mad or feeling completely depressed like I did after the election. So I do want to give you a little pep talk and say being together in community, and I'm going to address that after Jim speaks, being in community for all of us is medicinal and healthy and helpful. So please keep with it. Yeah. I've become a little bit of a news junkie, which is, my background is in theater, as a lot of you know, and I cared a little bit about politics, but nothing like, now. And so I'm sort of just a sponge, and I listened to Ezra Levin, who's the Indivisible founder in Washington, and he said the number one question people are asking him now is, how do you deal with activist burnout? And what he says makes so much sense. He says, next year, at the midterm election, when we said, hey, you remember back in the early part of 2017 when we had that great women's march, and for a couple of months we really showed up and we called our members of Congress, and that sort of faded away. He says, if everybody says that, we will lose. We will lose if everybody stops making those calls and stops their activism. So I didn't expect to do a little pepping today. This is all spontaneous, but there you go. There's my pep for today. So I've spoken to a few of you about this. I am extremely hopeful about turning our attention, our indivisible attention, into voter advocacy. Because that's the way we're going to nail Walden, meaning kick him out of office next year.
That's right.
And Indivisible is building a team of people who are interested in electoral politics. And there's a lot that electoral politics encompasses, everything from get out the vote, to making sure people are registered the right way, to canvassing, to phone banking, to meeting in groups, to going and seeing your neighbors and talking about who's voting, who's voting, who isn't voting, why you're not voting, and getting them to vote. Because a lot of people are like, yeah, I don't really need to vote. Well, you know what? Every one of us needs to vote next year. And if we haven't figured that out by now, we're going to need to start knocking on some doors. So there are a lot more people running against Walden already that have declared. There will be more that will declare, and it's going to be a very exciting Democratic primary. So I hope you're going to be with us to the end, because it's going to be very, very exciting. We have a new steering committee member. His name is Jim Bachman, and he is going to be... Of course, Jim has been with us from the beginning. We just were foolish enough not to ask him on the steering committee until just recently. But we're delighted to have him, and he is going to be facilitating the voter advocacy team. So please join me in welcoming Jim Bachman.
Thank you very much. In addition to the voter advocacy, I'm also the guy with David Kirk that puts out the CTA every morning. So I'm going to echo.
Good job.
Thank you.
Good job.
I can talk loud. I'm an old middle school administrator. Echo what Jessica said. We can never quit with the calls, the texts, email, letters to the editor. Anything you can do every day as much as you can stand and talk to your friends about it, because this has to go nonstop until the midterms and hopefully continue after that. So as the facilitator of this new committee, we'll call it, we have several things in mind for this program. One is going to launch right away. It's called the Neighborhood Leadership Program, where you are trained, one is trained to make personal contact with 35 people in your neighborhood from a list that we will give you that identifies people that we want to vote. Democrats, and we're working on a way to figure out which way non-affiliated voters lean. That's a challenge, because there's a whole lot of non-affiliated voters and we're not sure what they're going to do. So we're getting out the vote effort, we want to get out the right people. So I hope some of you will get involved in that. I'll be sending out an invitation once we meet again, this new advocacy group. Okay. I'll just talk right into that. Now we're doing it, right? And then throughout the district, we're going to start here in Jackson County. The Jackson County Democrats are doing it, and get that off the ground within a month or so. So that's coming up right away. You basically get a commitment from the person to vote on an actual sign a pledge, and if they don't vote, which we find out daily right up to the election closes, you go and remind them that they were going to vote. In addition to that, we're beginning work on what we're going to call in-house a focus group kit. So we'll develop a kit for facilitators of focus groups that we can then, once we've used it a while and we figure it works, is give it out across the entire district, where local people, we want the facilitators to be members of the community that they're pulling in to talk about the issues that bother them. And that's everybody. That's anybody on the political spectrum. A nonpartisan talk about what your issues are. We know in Ashland or Medford, we think we know what our issues are, but we're not sure about Madras and the rest of Central and Eastern Oregon. And there's a third thing that I'm just starting to want to add to the agenda and going forward way past 2018, and that's having an impact on redistricting and gerrymandering. All of these are voter related, and that's the charge of this particular committee. Canvassing, making calls up to the election, surely we'll get involved. We'll build up teams to do that too. So that's all I have to say, other than keep making those calls.
Thank you, Jim. This is very, very exciting. I want to take a moment to recognize one of the hardest working people in Indivisible, and probably one of the shyest and most humble. But that handsome man right there in purple is David Kirk. David Kirk sends out our calls to action every day. He is in charge of all of our 3,000 plus mailing list. He is amazingly patient, especially with me, and I adore him. So can we please give it up for David Kirk? And Roxy, who keeps David Kirk sane. It's really, really wonderful to have him on team. It's actually unbelievably invaluable to have him on team. Okay, so is everybody feeling a little more hopeful just hearing that we have the power to change the elections? Yes, it's really, really good. So. I said this last week, I said it a few minutes ago, but it's worth repeating. It is vital that we continue to rally. in these perilous times, we need each other. We need each other to cry, to hug, to scream, to bemoan, and to feel a little bit of hope when there is that avenue for hope. And it's also so important that we have face-to-face contact. You know, I spend a lot of time on Facebook. I feel like it's my part of my work as in Indivisible is to read everybody's comments. I don't always make comments myself, but it's very important for me to be in touch with how everybody's feeling and what they're expressing. But to me, seeing everybody's faces week after week is really the most important thing. So let's keep these face-to-face contacts alive. And thank you so much for showing up today. We're not done yet. We're not done yet. I'm going to be talking a little bit about our upcoming events. I know there's a lot of information. Everything is on our website, ORD2Indivisible.org. We also, because of our beautiful David, are given, he sent an email out today with a lot of our upcoming events. So always take a look at that and also our discussion group. Now, we will continue to have noon rallies the second Tuesday at the old courthouse, which is just across the street. And we'll be meeting the fourth Saturday right here for at least the next couple of months. We'll see how that goes. We're not going to have a rally on Tuesday in July because we're going to be marching under the Indivisible banner, behind the Indivisible banner at the Ashland Parade. And that's going to be really exciting. Yeah. So if you want to join us, and I hope you do, we're going to be meeting on Liberty Street, which is a few blocks before the parade starts. That's where everybody lines up at 9 a.m. on July 4th. When you're there, we're going to be selling our new ORD2 Indivisible T-shirts that the whole entire state we all have our own, the same logo with our own chapters on them. And on the parade route, we're going to be singing some songs that David is also handling. We're going to be singing America the Beautiful, This Land is Your Land, and My Country 'Tis of Thee. If you want to go to rehearsal for these songs, if you don't know these songs and you want to rehearse with a group of people, they're meeting Wednesday, June 28th at the Harley-Davidson store on Pacific Highway in Medford at 7 p.m. And if you in Phoenix, and if you can't make the rehearsal, David will be handing out lyric sheets at the parade. And you don't need to sing in order to be in the parade. So we want a nice big group. So bring your families, bring your dogs, bring your grandchildren, bring whoever you'd like, your friends, and meet us behind our beautiful banner here so we can all walk together. We're also going to have a booth. So after the parade, there'll be a nice big booth. Come by and say hello, because we'll have people there too. Lastly, but not leastly, we are going to be having our first ORD general meeting. So we've had a couple of intro meetings, but this is like basically for members. So we're going to not only talk about what we've done, we're going to talk about what we plan to do. So Jim will be speaking a little bit about the VAT, the voter advocacy team, and also all of our steering committee members will all be saying hello and letting you know a little bit about what they do, because we're all working a lot behind the scenes and we want to share that with you. And we're also wanting to start engaging people again like we used to. So there'll be ways for us to engage and sign up for teams and things like that. So again, everything is on our website, ord2indivisible.org. So we've got some closing remarks, but before we do, I thought we would be blessed, because we were always blessed when Alice DiMaselli is in the house. Alice is going to sing a few songs for us, and then we'll have some final words afterwards. Thanks.
Hi, everybody. I'm here because I'm standing here not in pain because of the Affordable Care Act. And I just had to say that. And I did have to pay for my treatment. I paid for my treatment, but my treatment wasn't free, but it was actually affordable. And I was not able to get treatment until I was able to get the Affordable Care Act. And had I not gotten the Affordable Care Act, had they not passed it, I would be in pain and I probably wouldn't be here because I would be not walking very well. So thank you to the Affordable Care Act, and thank you to everybody for making those phone calls. Little tip, if you can't, every day I can't always call, but that's why I have ResistBot. So if you have a cell phone, you do 50409, you text resist to that number, and they will walk you through being able to text your message, and you'll send it as a fax or they'll call for you, and that has really saved me. It's really awesome. And I do call when I can call, and I text when I can't, I fax when I can't, and there you go. So some of you know that one of the things that I am advocating for in ORD2, which I'm excited that it's going to become one of our action items, is that we really, in order to stay healthy as human beings, we need to fight this Jordan Cove LNG pipeline. Peter, please talk to, I don't know where he is. Peter, please talk to Kate Brown. I call her almost every single day and tell her to please do everything in her power to stop the Jordan Cove LNG pipeline. We don't need it. We have wonderful clean water here, and we need to keep it that way.
They stole documents out of the library. Tell them.
They stole who stole documents?
In the paper, they went into
Here,
a public library. They went into a public library and they stole documents and walked out with them on the history of this whole hearing. One of their representatives walked in, took all the files, and left. That is ballsy by corporations to go steal things out of a public library and walk off with them. Think about that. That's corporate America raising their fist in our face.
Okay, so I didn't know that. So anyway, I'm going to sing a song, and Brett's going to sing with me, and I'm just going to put the mic kind of in the middle so you can hear. We're loud. So this has an easy chorus. It says, "We are the voice of the water. We are the voice of the water. And we must stand and protect her, 'cause without her we're nothing at all." And it was inspired by the water protectors in North Dakota, and also Grandma Aggie, and also the Wind Wind too. We are the voice of the water, we are the voice of the water, and we must stand and protect her, because without her, we're nothing at all. We are the voice of the water. We are the voice of the water. We must stand and protect her, because without her, we're nothing. Stand and protect her, 'cause without her we're nothing at all. Oh, yeah. Water is life, this is the truth. Every cell in our bodies is dependent on this life-giving juice. Without her we die, make no mistake. All the money in the world can restore poisoned rivers and lakes. We are the voice of the water. We are the voice of the water. And we must stand and protect her. Without her, we're nothing at all. We are the voice of the water. protect her, 'cause without her we're nothing at all. We all give our bones back to the earth. It's everybody's destination from the moment of birth. And while we still breathe, it's our job to care, to be a voice for the voiceless, earth, water, fire, and air. To be a voice for the voiceless, earth, water, fire, and air. Everybody, we are the voice of the water. We are the voice of the water. Gotta stand and protect her, 'cause without her we're nothing at all. We are the voice of the water. We are the voice of the water. We must stand, we must stand, without we must stand and protect her. Yeah, we must stand and protect her, 'cause without her we're nothing at all. We got to stand and protect her, 'cause without her we're nothing. We are nothing at all. Thank you.
Stay inspired.
Thank you, Alice.
You can't give up now.
Love you. All right, my final words to you, Indivisibles. Please keep resisting. Please keep calling your members, our members of Congress. Please keep showing up at ORD2 events. And final words, together in solidarity, we will succeed. Yes. Thank you for rallying with us today, and we'll see you on July 4th. Have a great day. Keep cool. Keep hydrated.
Yeah, July 4th, because we're not doing, or they were doing something on Tuesday. Flash thing. Oh, we'll
See you on Tuesday at the Flash protest. And then July 4th.
Asante Court. Kristen says we're rallying at Asante Court, then going to the.
Yes,
I think you said Asante Circle earlier.
It's Asante Court, everybody, not Asante Circle. Asante Court. Check the Facebook page.
Well, I hope you had as much fun as I did. See you Tuesday.